Today, we're diving into a story that is all about extremes. We're going to follow a group of travelers on this single, incredible day trip deep in the Himalayas, a journey where one moment they're on top of the world, and the next, they're facing bone-chilling cold.
Wow, just listen to that. That is the sound of pure, unfiltered triumph. But getting to that moment, let me tell you, it was not easy. So what did it take to stand up there, feeling that sense of absolute awe? Let's get into it.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to trace their steps, starting with the journey to Tosh village. Then we'll tackle that grueling uphill trek with them, experience the incredible reward at the top, and then wind down at Manikaran's healing waters. And finally, we'll pull it all together and see what this trip really teaches us.
Every great adventure has to start somewhere, right? For this group, it all began on a bus, winding its way higher and higher into the majestic mountains of northern India, headed for a tiny village called Tosh.
And before the really hard part even started, they got this little taste of magic. The travelers were just floored by the Nilganga River. The water was this crazy, vibrant blue, so blue that the vlogger joked he'd only ever seen a color like that in a swimming pool. It was the perfect little preview of the natural wonders waiting for them.
So what exactly is Tosh village? Well, it's not some roadside tourist stop, that's for sure. This is a place you have to earn. It's a remote village perched way up high in the Parvati Valley, and it promises these absolutely spectacular views, but only if you're willing to make the tough trek to get there.
And this, my friends, is where the real challenge kicks in. The path from that beautiful river valley up to the village, this is where a scenic day trip turns into a serious test of endurance. You've got to picture this. The group was caught in this constant push and pull. On one hand, everywhere they looked was breathtaking. Lush valleys, snowy peaks, just incredible. But on the other hand, every single step was a fight against the thin air, the steep inclines, and these dusty, unstable paths. You can literally hear the physical toll in the vlogger's voice here. The oxygen was so thin that even just talking was difficult. But despite all that struggle, the mindset was clear. Oh well, let's go up. That's some serious determination.
Now, through all that struggle, they picked up some absolutely crucial tips. They learned to carry camphor. It's a local remedy that actually helps with the breathlessness. They also figure out, pretty quick, that the path isn't just for hikers. You're sharing it with vehicles, so you have to be constantly aware. Thankfully, there are little shops scattered along the way where you can stop and catch your breath.
So after that completely exhausting climb, the group finally made it to the viewpoint above the village. And here's the big question. Was all of that pain, all of that effort, actually worth it?
It's really interesting. Their first emotion at the top wasn't joy. It was pure fear. The danger of that steep climb just hit them all at once, and their initial feeling was just overwhelming relief that they'd made it up safely.
But that fear, it vanished in a second. The moment they actually took in that panoramic view of the snow-capped Himalayas, everything else, the struggle, the fear, the exhaustion, it all just melted away. It was replaced by pure, absolute joy.
And this feeling was universal. Everybody in the group felt the physical ache, the soreness in their legs, but not a single one of them regretted it. That temporary pain was such a small price to pay for a view that was going to stick with them forever.
And to really capture that moment, they unfurled the Indian flag. It was a pretty simple act, but it was powerful. It turned all of their individual struggles into this one shared moment of achievement and pride.
The vlogger makes such a powerful point here. He insists that no video, no photo could ever capture the real scale and majesty of that view. It's a great reminder, isn't it, that some of the world's greatest beauties just have to be experienced, not just watched through a screen.
All right, so after reaching the peak, there's only one way to go: down. The next chapter of their adventure takes them from the freezing cold of the mountain to a legendary place of warmth and healing. It's a total 180. As the sun started to set, the harsh reality of the mountain came right back. The temperature plummeted to a frigid 2 degrees Celsius. The descent turned into a race against this biting cold, which makes their next destination all the more remarkable.
And this brought them to one of the most incredible natural contrasts you can possibly imagine. At the Manikaran Gurudwara, a Sikh temple, they found themselves standing in 2-degree weather, about to step into naturally boiling hot springs. It's a place where fire and ice exist side by side.
So, why is the water boiling? Well, according to Hindu legend, the story is epic. It goes that the goddess Parvati lost a jewel here, and a furious Lord Shiva threatened to destroy the universe. To calm him down, the serpent god Shishnag hissed with such force that he returned the jewel and unleashed boiling water from the Earth's core, creating the hot springs we see today. What a story!
The effect on the travelers was profound. Stepping into that sacred, steaming water, the vlogger explains that the bone-deep cold from the mountain didn't just fade away, it completely vanished. They left that pool feeling not just warm, but totally rejuvenated.
So after a day like that, a day of extremes, what can we take away from this incredible journey? Let's break down the key lessons learned out there on the trail.
This adventure really hammers home a few key truths, doesn't it? We saw how preparation, even something small like carrying camphor, can make a huge difference. We saw that the greatest rewards, those breathtaking views, often lie on the other side of the greatest effort. And we learned to embrace contrast, that the warmth of the hot springs feels so much better right after you've endured the mountain cold.
And that leaves us with a final thought. This whole journey is really a perfect metaphor for life. The climb, the view, the cold, and the warmth. It challenges us to look at our own lives and ask ourselves, where is our mountain and what reward is waiting for us at the top?